What's up everyone, welcome to another fingerpicking lesson. Marco here. In this video I'm going to show you 5 fingerpicking tips that will save you months, maybe years of practice coming up. Alright guys, fingerpicking tip number 1. Practice basic fingerpicking patterns, but challenge your left hand. So let's say that I'm practicing a very simple pattern like this one. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, okay? It's a simple triplet, 3 notes, 1 per string, okay? Now, if I practice this picking pattern with chords, like this, it's a very cool exercise, okay? You can start with that, but if you want to take it to the next level, you have to challenge your left hand. And if you're practicing something for 3 minutes and you already play it, this is not challenging. So for me, challenging is when you have to really work on something for a little while before you actually master it, okay? So don't challenge yourself with things that are too easy. So I will play something like this. And then maybe some chords. Okay, so we were using the same picking pattern, but it's just sounding in a completely different way because we're challenging the left hand. And by doing that, you are going to develop way more musicality, tone, and control than just practicing fingerpicking patterns with chords, okay? So that's the first tip. Now let's move on to the second one. Now the tip number 2 is practice scales with a purpose. And what that means is scales are usually the best way to really improve your fingerpicking technique, okay? And any other technique, like even if you play an electric guitar and you play with the pick, practicing scales is a very important thing to do. But when I say practice scales with a purpose, means that you should be able to put scales into practice and come up with something melodic, okay? So, for example, let's say that you're practicing an A minor scale in position 1, okay? So, nice, very simple scale. Nice, very simple scale. So now we want to put it into practice. And so what I'll do, probably just come up with a very simple exercise like this one. Okay, so what I was playing here is just basically the A minor scale before I'm strumming a chord, okay? So I'm playing a very basic chord progression, A minor, and then the scale. G major, and then the scale. F major, and then the scale. And E major, and the scale. Okay, it's a very simple approach, but I'm using the A minor scale with the purpose. And so rather than just play the scale up and down, I'm basically playing some of the notes from the scale between those chords, okay? So you don't necessarily have to start always with the root note of the scale and follow the scale pattern. I could just play the first chord and then just play 3 or 4 notes of the scale. And then I move on to the next chord. Okay, so on the G, starting on the B string for 3, it's an awesome way to start. And then F. I'm starting the A minor with the note C. And then E major. So practice scales with purpose will definitely give you a completely different understanding of scales, how to put them into practice, and also will improve your musicality because you're not stuck practicing the scales up and down the neck, but you're actually developing your musicality because you have to come up with a melody, a solo, a line that basically works with the chords. Okay, so it's an awesome way. This is probably my favorite tip because it's really musical and beginners really love it because they feel like they're playing something that is music. Okay, so tip number 2. Now move on to the tip number 3. Now tip number 3 is the Travis picking approach, and the reason why I'm mentioning this approach, guys, is because the Travis technique is basically the thumb striking on 2 bass notes. So if I play something like this, so as you can see, the thumb is jumping on 2 bass line, okay? And what that does is it really improves a lot of the thumb movement. And when it comes to finger picking guitar, the thumb is basically the finger that will balance your right hand. Also, it doesn't only balance the thumb position, but it also balance the fingers as well. And so with Travis picking, practicing stuff using the Travis picking technique is definitely an awesome way to really improve your finger picking technique, okay? And improve your finger picking technique in a faster way. Now, finger picking tip number 4. Practice some cool classical pieces. Now, classical music is beautiful, guys, and it's an awesome way to improve your finger picking guitar. Now, I'm going to show you a few examples, some of the most famous finger picking songs, but really important, guys, make sure that you follow those 2 steps before you get started with classical music. The step number 1, you want to make sure that you lower the left hand thumb right behind the neck. You want to have it in the middle, okay? Now, I know that a lot of acoustic guitar players play with the thumb sitting on the top of the neck, and this is good for a lot of things, but when it comes to classical music, you really want to lower it down and have much more of a classical guitar posture here, because, you know, the finger movement is a little bit more stretchy and challenging when you play certain classical pieces, and so by having the thumb sitting on the neck here is not gonna help your finger stretch, okay? And the second thing, really important, guys, just make sure that you always place the thumb in front of the finger, okay? That's an overall rule, but when it comes to classical guitar, you really want to make sure that you have the 45-degree angle and the thumb in front of the finger. Is extremely important so that you can beautifully articulate and pluck the strings. Now, let's check a few examples coming up. Now guys, finger picking tip number 5, the last one. Make sure that you challenge your rhythmic chops, okay? And what that means is you have to make sure that you challenge your rhythmic skills as much as you challenge, you know, your scales, your chords. So you want to practice rhythm as much as you practice scales and chords. Now, when I refer to rhythm, you know, beside the obviously practicing chords and scales with different rhythmic patterns, I'm also referring a lot to practicing with the percussive approach. And the percussive approach can be very simple, guys. There are a lot of, you know, guitar players on YouTube, and you know they do crazy percussive things. But I like to keep it very simple and very effective. So for example, let's just take this example. Okay, so I'm playing a very simple chord progression, A minor, C, G, and F. But I'm applying this beautiful percussive approach that I call thumb slap. And then thumb slap and strum. So I'm basically slapping the bass note and then strumming simultaneously. So. Okay, do it faster. I always get confused with the F chord, I don't know why. But you can see that by adding the percussion, I am challenging my rhythmic patterns, my rhythmic chops. And this is another thing that will improve your technique faster if you start implementing, different rhythmic, a different rhythmic approach. Okay, so 5 tips that will really help you improve your finger picking technique faster. Now let me know if you like this video, guys, and good luck with your practice. I'll see you on the next video.